What are the 3 worst foods for your health? Those ones you should avoid at all costs. In this video, I will explain what are the 3 worst foods for your health and why you don't want them in your diet. Hello to everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tommy. I'm a human nutrition student and researcher at the university. My job here is to consume a lot of content in the health topic. Then I do my own curation and explain and teach you the best and most valuable information you need to know. So you don't have to do the research. I have already done that for you. So let's begin with this video and let's see which is the first of the 3 foods we should avoid at all costs. Number 1, seed oils. I see that coming. Seed oils. Why? Because seed oils are very inflammatory. They're very bad for your health. They are pretty much useless in terms of nutrition. What they provide to your body is fat. But which type of fat? Because there are a lot of types of fat. Some of them are even beneficial, and we must include that in our diet. But this type of fat is the polyunsaturated fat, omega-6. And omega-6 is pro-inflammatory. And since we probably have a way of eating in which the ratio between omega-6s and omega-3 is very high on the omega-6s, I mean 25:1, we don't need extra omega-6s to include to our diet. So as you can see, this is very dangerous to our health because too much omega-6s are going to create a chronic inflammation state, and we do not want that because that's a continuous and permanent activation of the immune system. And when something else tries to attack us, our immune system is already busy fighting that inflammation. You see what I mean? So what we need to do instead is to avoid and cut down the amount of omega-6s we ingest in our diet and prioritize the omega-3s to get that ratio back to 1:1 where it should be. So please, to achieve that, you must avoid seed oils at all costs. And when I say seed oils, you have to know that almost 99% of fried food is fried in, guess what? Seed oils. So all the fried foods, that type of food should be avoided because it's very prone to inflammation. It will lead to a state in which diseases are easier to catch, and nobody wants that. Okay, so now number 2. Number 2 is the trans fats. Trans fats are useless, again, because trans fats are present in processed food. Natural food does not contain trans fats. You have to know that. So for those of you that do not know what trans fats are basically the unsaturated fats that those double bonds that they contain are switched from the cis position to the trans position. And this conversion from cis to trans gives to the fatty acid a similarity to the saturated ones, because saturated fats have all the fatty acids going like this, and unsaturated fats, because they have the cis, they go like this and then like this, and they rotate in space. They occupy even more space than saturated fats. That's because the saturated fats, as they occupy less space and they are all straight, they can compile one upon the other, whereas the unsaturated fats cannot do that. So you can reach the conclusion that margarine and all the trans fats present in especially the pastries are not healthy for us. We cannot eat that. Why? Because that's a molecular structure change that the industry have done to a fatty acid to make it acquire different properties than those ones that it should have naturally. And then they sell you margarine as the healthy alternative to butter because it has vegetable fats instead of animal fats. But in reality, to obtain margarine, they have been doing different processes that alter completely the molecular structure, the natural molecular structure of that fat. It has been modified so much that our body cannot really understand what's going on because this is not supposed to be a natural thing. I also have to mention that this type of fats, the trans fats, have been linked to cardiovascular diseases, and I'm not surprised by that at all. Knowing what's behind what we eat is what makes the difference. And number 3 is the processed food. Processed food is not what we want to eat in our diet. We must avoid processed food at all costs. Yes, we can have a cheat meal in a week in which we can have processed food, but try to limit that, because that's not healthy. A human being has not been designed to eat junk food or processed food. What you have to know is that this type of food is not present in nature, so it's not a natural thing. The only fruit that has some similarities with processed food is the coconut. Why? Because it contains considerable amounts of carbohydrates and high amounts of fat. There is no other, again, I repeat it, there is no other food in nature that contains high amounts of carbohydrates and high amounts of fat. And processed food is all about carbs and fats. Why? Because carbs and fats, they taste very good, but they hack our metabolism. They are very bad for us. They make us gain weight, they make us sick, they make us feel tired, they promote inflammation, and they get us away from what we say it is health. We cannot eat processed food and think we are healthy. There's no way we can do that. So try to avoid at all costs all the processed food that contains more than 5 ingredients and it's high in fats, sugars, and carbs. Please stop doing that. You will see a change. You will feel better. You will stay away from diseases, and you will improve your health, and your body is going to thank you. I also have a bonus tip in which I'm going to over-deliver the information I acquired. So in this group, I will also tell you to avoid gluten. Gluten is one molecule that when it enters our body, it's split between gliadin and glutenin. Gliadin is this little guy that we do not want because it activates the zanolin. The zanolin is a protein that is present between the cells of our gut, and it has the potential of opening that space between those cells, those gap junctions, and by doing that it can expose our inner system to pathogen and threats that come from the exterior, from what we ingest. So as you can see, this promotes the inflammation, this promotes the chronic inflammation, the one you don't feel. But people say, oh, I eat gluten and I feel right, nothing that bad. Yes, but you do not feel this chronic inflammation. You feel fine, but then you go outside, you get some windy air, some cold weather maybe, and then you're suddenly sick. And you say, why am I sick? Oh, it's just the cold weather, it's just the windy air I got. But that should not be something normal. And unfortunately, it is, because many people get sick because of that. And the problem with that is not the cold weather or the windy air, it's the chronic inflammation we have. Our system was already fighting a threat, and when another has come, our system couldn't manage with all of that. And that's when we feel sick, because it enters the emergency state in which our body needs to go sick in order to repair itself, to kill what's inside, what has come to our body, to our inner body. So that's it. To summarize, number 1, the seed oils, avoid at all costs. The number 2 are the trans fats. The number 3 are the processed foods, and the bonus, gluten. This is it for this video. I hope you understood that these types of food cannot really stay in a healthy diet, as we say, and we should try to minimize them and also avoid the majority in order to improve our health and feel better and live a longer life. If you have any doubts, there is a comment section down below. Remember to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, share to friends and family to let them know that this stuff is very important and they should care about this too. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next one. Ciao.